Good day to Dr. Ali. I'm Prialoshini here. I'm here to present my research proposal. The topic that I've chosen is readiness of Malaysian higher education institute students towards self-directed learning. So as the introduction, self-directed learning is known as independent learning, where the students, they learn a subject matter knowledge without the assistance and guidance from the teacher. So it has been an essential method in the 21st century learning of teaching and learning procedure. Besides the 21st century learning, we are practicing a new norm because we are caught up in the COVID-19 pandemic and everything has changed is face-to-face mode into online mode. Same goes to our education, where our classes are conducted in online mode through online platform and everything. So there are two categories of students. One is the one who could with good internet connection, and the one is with poor internet connection because of the area, the residential area. So the one with not good internet connection, they have no other choice than practicing this self-directed learning because in order for them to cope up with the studies and also the lesson. So moving on to the research background, there are three main goals of self-directed learning, which are to intensify the capabilities of students to be self-determined in their studies, to cultivate the evaluation in learning, to encourage learning and social action as an integral part of their self-directed learning. Moving on to the problem statement, to what extent are the Malaysian higher institute students prepared to facilitate their own learning? And based from the citation, Ferrer 1993, claim that this type of learning has banking education, which indicate that learners are vessels or containers to be filled by the teacher's narration. So this actually shows that the students are caught up in the mindset where the learners are the empty vessels and they are filled with the narration and also knowledge that is passed by the teachers to them. So that is the problem statement for this research paper. And the research objective are to analyze students' readiness towards self-directed learning. And second one is to identify students' understanding towards self-directed learning and also traditional learning. There's a major difference between self-directed learning and also traditional learning. Self-directed learning is where the students are the only one who will be there when they are practicing when they are practicing learning. And then while traditional learning is where the presence of teacher is necessary there, where teacher passes the knowledge to the students and students will be there to absorb the knowledge, whatever that has been passing from the teacher. So moving on to the next one, research question. What is the students' readiness towards self-directed learning? And the second question is, what are the students' understanding on self-directed learning and also traditional learning? Moving on to the conceptual framework, the independent variable and also the dependent variable. The independent variable here is the self-directed learning, and dependent variable here is readiness of Malaysian higher education institute students. Moving on to the methodology, the research is planned to be conducted in a quantitative research approach, and the population is Malaysian university students. The instrument tools that I plan to use is online survey questionnaire, and also distribute the questionnaire through online platform. For example, like share the link in WhatsApp or any other social media like Instagram or Facebook. And then SSPS, I will use SPSS software platform. SPSS here stands for Statistical Package for Social Science, which this platform is used to analyze the data, the statistical data. Moving on to the literature review, here I have chosen 3 literature reviews which are closely related to my research article. So the first one is by Ying Zuan, 2018, Self-Directed Learning Readiness Among Foundation Students from High and Low Proficiency Level to Learn English Language. The aim of this study is to investigate students' self-directed learning readiness in a foundation program in a public university in Malaysia, so as to find out how they perceive this approach can improve their learning of English language at the tertiary level. As their results, the respondents appeared to have high intrinsic motivation for learning English. So the main important key element in self-directed learning is motivation. When someone is intrinsically motivated, when the student is intrinsically motivated, when they're intrinsically motivated, only they can perform self-directed learning, because intrinsic motivation derived within the student. So self-directed learning is not something that can be easily done by the students with just extrinsic motivation where they want to score well because they want to get awards, they want to get this president, this. No. Self-directed learning only can perform well by the students if they themselves have the motivation to perform it well, because they want to excel in studies, because they want to have better understanding towards a particular subject knowledge. So this research article actually give a results that the students have high intrinsic motivation to perform self-directed learning in English language. Moving on to the next article, which is by Nur Faradila, 2020, which is last year, Self-Directed Learning Curriculum, Students' Perspective of Students' Learning Experience. The aim of this study is to investigate the university students' perspective on university learning experience and aims to highlight the extent of university support ecosystem to determine the effectiveness of self-directed learning implementation. Based on the findings shows that majority of the research participants have suggested that learners should be granted greater autonomy, and learners are the one that's supposed to be responsible and take control of their learning, not the teachers. And it also, the finding also show that they should, because some parts of the education, the students need the assistance from the teachers, educators. So this study also proposes that it need a balance, although the students are implementing self-directed learning, they need a balanced relationship between the interconnection between students and educators. This interconnection between students and educators shouldn't abolish the involvement of educators, shouldn't abolish self-directed learning. They must be in a very good line, there's a thin line between the students and educators, where the involvement of educators shouldn't abolish the self-directed learning. So moving on to the next research article, which is by Nur Hidayah, 2020, Exploring Malaysia Polytechnic Lecturers' Readiness in Promoting Self-Directed Learning. This is an institutional case study. The aim of this study is to explore the readiness of how lecturers promote self-directed learning to the students through online learning. The findings indicate the lecturers have employed self-directed skill in the teaching also learning process. For example, here they can we can say that before the lecturer introduce a new topic to the class, what they can do, they can ask the students to actually carry on a research about the topic that they're about to learn on the next day. This will actually enhance self-directed learning, and this is what they have been written in this research article, where the teacher themselves, they have employed the skill of self-direction learning. And that's all from me. Thank you.